Hey everyone, Brian here from Vintage Classic Specialist. Happy Thursday everyone. It is time for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So, let's see what happened here. First off, let me talk about some rearrangement here. So, I've been talking about putting the 67 Beetle in this spot and finally did it. So, this is actually, these three spots here are really good spots to build cars that are going to be, say sitting on jack stands or immobile for one reason or another for a while, because they're not really in the way of anything as far as needing to get other cars in or out of the shop. So yeah, finally went and swapped the 64, which is in for, a bunch of mechanical work, a little bit of upholstery, a little bit of paint and body, kind of, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Went ahead and put its front wheels and tires on it. The front end is, so this is one I put an adjustable stock width front end on, and we upgraded it to disc brakes. Front end is pretty much together. I still need to put the suspension snubbers on it. Steering's all hooked up, needs an alignment, and at some point I'll have to adjust the height where we want it, but for now it's just sitting at sort of a random height close to stock, I would say. Yeah, so went ahead and got the front wheels and tires on, and then put just a dolly on the back. It's not one of the bitchin' ones from Washburn's Metal, because both of those, we own two of those right now. They're on this car. Love those. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, it's these, which go on either the front or the back of the car, link pin or king pin, king and link pin or ball joint front ends. So very universal. Same one, front, back. Anyway, I have two of those, and they're on that car. This one I've got a homemade one that our shops had for eons, which works fine. But anyway, so yeah, that allowed me to make this car mobile, and so yeah, swapped it out. This one is still inside at the moment, letting it, just dry a bit more and stuff like that, and protecting it from the very hot sun these days. But it won't be too long, and I think, like I mentioned, he still needs to do a little bit more paint and then clear coat up here. Same a little bit on the inside, or at least some areas of the inside of the car. And then at that point, once everything's good and dry, that's when we would start the color sanding process, or the cutting and buffing, if you prefer. And that takes care of any little bit of orange peel or any little impurities in the paint. All that stuff will be gone, be as smooth as a baby's butt, and the shine and everything will just really pop. I mean, it looks pretty amazing right now, but as you guys know, once these things are cut and buffed, they just look amazing. So yeah, that'll be happening maybe next week. Actually, we'll start on that on this car. And but anyway, for the next couple days at least, this one will probably live indoors, and then we'll move it back out to our paint and body shop to finish up the paint, and like I mentioned, start doing color sanding, stuff like that. So anyway, that's this one. This one I did work on it a little bit today, other than kind of making it mobile again by putting the front wheels on and the dolly on the back. Other thing that I did was, this car did not have any sound deadening material in the doors, and I noticed immediately when I got the car, even when it still had door panels on it, when you would close the doors, you'd hear that very tinny sound that you get on these, because they're basically just like a giant drum if there's no sound deadening in them. So yeah, before I go ahead and reinstall his door panels, which we're reusing because they were really pretty nice. I went ahead and added Dynamat in here, and now, listen. Boom. Sounds so good. It'll sound even better when the door panels are on, because they do also add a degree of kind of insulation and noise damping. But yeah, even just with the Dynamat, amazing, night and day. You guys can look. I do have I think it was a tech tip video where I show a door with and without Dynamat, and kind of this difference in sound. You can hear it. So check that video out. Super noticeable. And again, it's got that kind of metallic I don't know, like tinny sound, I would call it. But anyway, yeah, so put those in. And then in preparation for putting his back suspension and stuff back together, and I'm hoping that his transmission is done pretty soon. I need to talk to my transmission guy, but I would suspect he's going to be probably calling me any day and letting me know it's done and seeing when he can drop it off. But before that goes back in, I do want to re-index his rear spring plates. Again, I've mentioned probably several times on this car, the goal here is to go like subtly more low, so probably lower the back about 3/4 of an inch, I'm thinking. And then when the car is all back on the ground, fully loaded, engine, everything, and we move it around, let it settle, then we'll dial in the adjustable front to give it just maybe like a hair of rake, kind of see what the owner's preference is. But to me, they look good, about an inch lower overall with a tiny bit of rake, nose down a little bit. Of course, stock, they tend to have the nose up a little bit. So for example, if I lower the back 3/4 of an inch, the front will probably end up being more like, an inch and a quarter or so, maybe even a little bit more, and that'll give it just that subtle amount of rake that it takes. Because yeah, these things are super high in front, kind of goofy looking, but that's how they were. So if somebody wants one stock, that's totally an appropriate look, but we're going for kind of like a subtle, kind of a subtle hot rod / sleeper look here. Just, subtle. Like you might almost have to look at the car twice to notice that it's sitting a little low, not, like slammed or anything like that. So that's what he wants. We're going to build him a bitchin' 1904 cc motor with dual Webers, and this little thing's going to rip. And I think he wants to keep the wide white walls, which makes it super fun because people are not going to suspect that this thing's got a 1.9 liter in it with, 100 and whatever, 15 horsepower, give or take. So yeah, it's going to be super fun little car. But yeah, so other than painting that stuff, getting that stuff prepared, and the Dynamat and getting it mobile again, that was pretty much it for this one. So Big Blue, I started working on it this morning, again trying to just maintain that momentum on this baby, and had the engine in and out a couple times, sort of like mocking things up and stuff like that with it. And so I did sort of test route the throttle cable, which on these fuel injected ones does not run through the stock location, which is through the shroud over here. It kind of comes around from the side of the motor and faces this way, I believe. Need to double check, but yeah, so started kind of testing that. There is an existing hole in the front engine tin that looks like it's going to work nice for that, so that's already there. I'll just have to put a grommet in it. And then the other thing that I did was, hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. I was getting a delivery. I'll talk about that maybe tomorrow. Anyway, so the other, I guess, major-ish thing that I did today was to mount the fuel pump up under, where is it? Oh, there it is, yep. So fuel pump's all mounted it on, drilled into the body there and put a couple nutserts in, and then mounted it, and it's got like a foam sleeve on it, vibration damping, stuff like that. I also put the outlet on the fuel itself, which is a T, and then it's got a couple 90-degree fittings on it. So yeah, I can pretty much plumb the fuel system now. I do need to get a fuel hose and some fuel clamps from AJ at Low Bucket, who of course makes this fuel injection system. And then I will in the morning get the throttle body back and do the sort of final install of it, where all the cables route neatly how I had it. I think I mentioned this the other day. I got to pretty much like partially remove the fan shroud to route those wires or cables, underneath everything neatly and stuff. But yeah, that's kind of what it takes to do it. A little bit of a pain, but that's the cleanest way I found to route them, is to route them kind of underneath there and by the intake manifold. But with the big connectors on them, you got to lift that up, route them, and then set it back down, and then everything's kind of tucked in there. But yeah, so hopefully tomorrow I will get the throttle body back and a bunch of fuel hose, and then I can go ahead and plumb the fuel system. I think the fuel line, so again with fuel injection, fuel comes from the pump, goes into the, in this case, into the throttle body. The fuel that's not used comes back out of the throttle body and then runs back to the tank. So I think both of those lines I'm going to probably run through the actual firewall right there. So those will more or less like stay attached to the body of the car versus running through the front engine tin there, because then you'd have to pass them back somehow back through the engine tin to remove the engine. So this way you would just disconnect them from the throttle body itself, you know, kind of swing them off to the side, and then the engine can come out without, you know, monkeying with feeding those fuel lines back through the front engine tin or something. So I think that's going to be pretty clean way to install it through the through there. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I did start looking at some of the wiring and thinking about where to mount some relays and stuff like that, but I didn't really want to start mounting stuff till I do have the throttle body, which again has all the cables and stuff coming out of it, so that I can, you know, make sure that the lengths of things are correct to reach the mounting point I want and stuff like that. But I did kind of start looking at things and doing some preliminary planning, thinking, whatever you want to call it, about that stuff. But that is pretty much what happened on Big Blue today. So again, just, you know, continuing to chip away at it. So I think that's actually it for today, guys. So got a lot done. Doesn't really sound like a lot when I kind of like talk about it, but yeah, spent a pretty solid day here working on these two blue beauties, and you know, moving some cars around here and there too. So that's it for today, everyone. Thank you all very much for watching, and we will see you again soon. Bye.